What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's dive into TNA Impact from May the 23rd, 2024. TNA continues to still be in a standstill. That's the main issue that I have with the product. They still continue to use the same old recycled talent that they need to get rid of, and they need to move forward and bring in new talent. I don't think that we'll see a significant change until Slammiversary. I thought we would have gotten change at Rebellion. We got a small bit of change, but not much. But I really do expect for things to change drastically as we head into Slammiversary. That's usually when TNA usually gets its act together, is around Slammiversary. But we'll have to wait and see. So, we kicked the show off with the first match of the night, that being Broken Matt Hardy and Ryan Nemeth. They defeated the System, which was Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. I don't give a shit about this. Who cares? Post-match, Moose came out to beat down Matt Hardy and Nick Nemeth. So Moose brought a steel chair into the ring. He was going to take out Ryan Nemeth with a steel chair, but Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, showed up and he made the save. So this caused the System to fled, and this was good. I'm glad that Nick Nemeth is back. Good stuff, good shit. Moving on. So Gia Miller, she was backstage. She interviewed the ABC. She talked about the tension that's been happening between the two of them over the past few weeks. So Chris Bay mentioned Jake something and Cody Deaner previously fighting the previous week, and that Cousins fight, but there was no trouble between he and Ace Austin. Ace Austin said that they aren't on the same page like they thought. Ace Austin said maybe they should work some feelings out of their system by having a match against each other. Ace said it would help them to get on the same page, and then finally Chris Bay agreed. So this is fine. This actually does make sense. I do like this. I do think that we will see a reuniting of the ABC. I'm a fan of ABC. I really am. I like Chris Bay and Ace Austin. Really solid guys. Again, my problem with TNA is that they continue to put these guys in low mid-card feuds. They're not doing much with any of them, with either of them. And I think, if we're being honest, I do think that ABC should be in NXT. The same goes for the Rascals. I think those four guys would be fine in NXT. I really do. I think that would be good to see those four gentlemen in NXT. I really do. But we'll see where this leads. Moving on. So Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, they were backstage with Matt Hardy. They were interrupted by Santino Marella on the phone. Santino said that they earned a tag team title shot. Matt Hardy says that he was just here for the world title. So Santino gave him a shot at the world title at Against All Odds. And then he gave the Nemeth brothers a shot at the tag team championships against the System, which is fine. I do like this. What I think is going to happen is I still think that Moose is going to retain the championship at Against All Odds, and the same can be said for him retaining the championship at Slammiversary. I think what they're going to do is have Jinder Mahal show up, and probably at Bound for Glory in October. That's probably when they'll have Moose drop the title to Jinder Mahal. I think that would be great. And they are going to be in Canada for Slammiversary. But we know right now that Nick Nemeth, he's just basically doing the Matt Cardona to where he's not really committed to any promotion. He's just showing up to, different promotions and stuff like that, the Indies, New Japan, and all that. I don't think that TNA will give Matt Hardy nor Nick Nemeth the world title. I just don't see that. I think that's going to be given to Jinder Mahal. He's going to be the one to dethrone Moose. But I would not be shocked to see that Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, they end up defeating Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers and becoming the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. I think that would be some cool shit right there. I really do. Moving on. So this leads us into the Rascals. They defeated two jobbers by the name of Sinner and Saint, a.k.a. Travis Williams and Judas Icarus. So they won. The match was short. They win via the double stump. So post-match, Steve Maclin showed up. He beat the shit out of the Rascals. So they're still doing that feud. It seems like they're probably going to try to turn the Rascals babyface, which I have no fucking idea why. They're brought off as heels. That's just how their gimmick is. And being a heel faction fits them more than being a babyface faction, if we're just being honest. Moving on. So, Steve Maclin, he had a backstage interview with Gia Miller. She got in touch with him after he did what he did backstage to the Rascals, after he beat them up. He said that this was payback, basically. So now he's done with them. So Steve Maclin said that he was sending the message and that this is finally over. He's not setting his sights on Mike Santana. So my boy Santana, he shows up and he confronts Steve Maclin, and the two of them agreed to a match next week. This is fine, but I've got a feeling we're probably going to get a fuck finish. I think we should just do the match at Against All Odds. Match number 2 at Against All Odds, where Maclin wins. Like, maybe he cheats to win. And then at Summerversary, we do the rubber match. But I don't think they're going to end up, giving away Steve Maclin and Santana, especially a solid finish on TNA television. That's just me. I don't know. But like I said, I think that would be better because you can still build towards it. So I'm still going to go with there's probably going to be a fuck finish involving Mike Santana and Steve Maclin next week. We'll have to just wait and see. Moving on. So we get a clip of Frankie Kazarian's lame ass yelling at Jade Chung, the wife of Josh Alexander. So security stepped in and they eject him from the building. So Kazarian gets on the mic, said that he's the king of TNA and that he's leaving. And then he crossed paths with Cody Deaner. Who gives a fuck? Moving on. Ugh, I hated this shit that came up next. That was Cody Deaner. He came out. He got on the mic. He called out Jake Something. Jake Something came out immediately. Deaner said that one thing was going through his mind after last week's attack from Jake Something, and that was he deserved it for what he did to Jake when he joined by Design. Deaner said that families fight, and that's okay. He wanted to fight with Jake. He asked if the people wanted him to see him shake Jake's hands, and there was a mixed reaction. And Deaner was about to shake hands with Jake, but it didn't happen. The lame ass good hands, they showed up. I was like, oh my god, this shit sucks. So John Scott said they didn't care about what the people thought. They got in the ring. Jake Something said the situation didn't concern them. Jake Something says no one speaks for him. And then John Scholar said that Jake did need someone to speak for him because he can barely form a sentence. And then that's when Jake beats the shit out of John Schuyler. And both Deaner and Jake Something cleared the house of the Good Hands. Santino Marella came out. He made a KFC match, which was a Kentucky Fight Club match. And I didn't give a fuck about this. I wanted to burn my television. So, Jake Something got the win via Into the Void. Who gives a shit? This is lame. Both Diener and Jake Something shook hands post-match. I don't really give a shit about this because I'm not a fan of Diener and the Good Hands. I'm just not. This is dumb. This was dumb. Again, Diener, just like Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Edwards, Moose, and so many others, just need to be backstage producers. Like, fuck this shit. Again, it's time for TNA to bring in fresh faces. It's time. Moving on. So, G. Miller shared a backstage interview with Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace said that last week's champion challenge loss was not for her. Was not on her. So she said she went to TNA management and asked for a challenge, and they gave her Marty Bell. Jordynne Grace said that she would show everyone why no knockout on the roster can stop the Juggernaut. Moving on, the System, they had a heated discussion backstage. Some Moose vowed to break every bone in Matt Hardy's body. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers vowed to beat the Nemeths. And Eddie Edwards said that no one survives the System, so Joe Hendry stepped in and noted that he was able to beat the System. So Eddie Edwards called Joe Hendry a joke and said that he would take out Joe Hendry next week once and for all. The System walked away, and then Brian Myers told Joe Hendry to write a song about that. This sucks. Now, I do like the fact that we might be getting a little feud involving the System and Joe Hendry. I think that would be good. It does make perfect sense. I think he will be a good out just in case Jinder Mahal does not show at Slammiversary. I think that he will be a good out. We could begin to build up Joe Hendry, and I do think that he has what it takes to be a main eventer. I really do. He's over. He's one of the most over guys in the company, and I think that he would be really good as champion. I do. I think he will make a really good world champion. But we'll see where it goes. Moving on. So, Ash by Elegance was supposed to show up, but it didn't happen. So her personal concierge showed photos of Ash Elegance on the screen. She had a busted and bruised lip and a tooth that was out of place. And then it was a stand-in Ash by Elegance mannequin that he introduced, which was funny. So I like that. I got a good little laugh out of that shit. So this leads us into Jordynne Grace defeating Marty Bell. She retained her TNA Knockouts Championship via the Juggernaut Driver. Post-match, Allison Kay showed up. The Hex, the second part of the Hex, and they beat the shit out of Jordynne Grace. So I like this. I'm glad that my girls are back. I'm glad that Allison Kay is back along with Marty Bell. They are good. The Hex has been gone for a minute. I want to say probably close to a year. But thankfully they are back, and hopefully they're there to stay. So I do like this. It's interesting to see where this goes moving forward. Moving on. We get a clip of Jonathan Gresham defeating Kushida on Explosion using the ink. This also led us into a segment where Santino Marella was on the phone. He tried to call Jonathan Gresham and left him a message. Santino noticed that everyone Jonathan Gresham wrestles gets sick, and Santino said that Jonathan Gresham would face Sami Callihan next week, and that the referee was going to wear gloves and a mask. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Again, I like what they're doing with Jonathan Gresham. Really good heel shit. I'm loving the character. It's great. Moving on. So Tasha Steele, she defeated Jody Threat via the cutter. So that's interesting. Hopefully we can build Tasha Steele's back up. Maybe this was a start. Moving on, we get a vignette of PCO. He's yelling Steph. He wants to get with Steph the Lander. Who gives a shit? Fuck this shit. Can we please move on? Can we please just make PCO a damn backstage producer, for fuck's sake? Please. Moving on. Top Dollar and, my bad, AJ Francis and Rich Swann, they had a promo, which is a.k.a. First Class. They had a backstage promo. They said they were scouting champions last week, and they are going to decide what title they're going to go after next week. And then AJ Francis said it would be First Class Summer, so I do like this. Nice. Great stuff. Main event of the evening, didn't give a fuck about it. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Trent Seven. The winner would face Mustafa Ali at Against All Odds. Trent Seven got the win because Champagne Singh got involved. He took out Mike Bailey. So I guess they're going to feud Mike Bailey and Champagne Singh. Who gives a fuck? Fuck this shit. So that was TNA. Could have been better. Again, we're at a standstill. Not much to talk about. Not much to really dive into. Again, TNA is at a damn standstill. They have no one to blame but themselves, but it is what it is. But what did you guys think of TNA? Like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully next week will be better for TNA, and I think it will. Peace.